came back and said she really liked what we had. So I'm like, yes. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. So today is Frictionless Branding, and we have Lily, one of my favorite clients. I love her to death.
Right. Just say it. I'm just tied with Britta.
I know, right?
I know. I'm like, wait.
But no, so like literally, I'm here with Lindsay Mustain, who like I am just like so in love with. Literally, we're going to be doing a brand evolution to literally show like the 3 phases from when we first met at FHL, when she was having a little bit of brand shame, like she wasn't sending. She wasn't
so much shame. That's exactly what I said. I still have like the visceral reaction to it. I'm like, oh, don't show me, don't tell anybody where I came from. But she said, you know, you're my friend, so you need to come on here and talk about it. So I said, okay.
So we're gonna do all that. It's gonna be super, super fun. And then we're just gonna go through and we're just gonna show like how now, like look at her just like serving, like just look at her. Doesn't she look like premium? All right, guys, let's get into it.
Man, your hair is so on point on every single one of those. The first thing I asked, I was like, is my hair okay? Let's get our priorities straight.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk about brand evolution, Lindsay Mustain edition. Like, I'm so excited about this. So, all right, so let's set the stage. So, we met at FHL literally last year.
It feels like it's been forever because we've been on such a long journey together.
I know, like it was like literally like January 2020 we met FHL, and literally 3 days later you asked me like, what do I do?
Yes, because I never want to ask anybody. Like, my job is to help people find the work, right? So my job is to help people find their dream job or help take their human resources team, if they're managing just people problems and not creating profitability, how do they change that? So my identity with my job is something I always like, I don't want to talk about. So I had no idea what Carrie did for at least 3 days.
And you asked me what I did. You're like, so what do you do? And I was like, and so guys, like, this is me, like, really just fresh in the game. So like, I didn't have like my value, like my, what is it, elevator pitch. Like, it was not there. I was like, I create funnels and do branding and design. And she was like, stop.
I think I said, show me the most recent one that you have built. Like, I was like, so like, I went from, what? I'm from the state, like Missouri, and literally show me is what we say. And I'm like, you need to show me. And then she pulled open a funnel. And you were like, oh my gosh. I was so impressed. And I'm like, so I have an eye for talent. You know, that's been my job. And seeing people's talent. I knew I liked Carrie's hustle and her work ethic. And she was so dedicated. And I said, tell me the price point for this. And she said it. I was like, oh, before you change your price, we book it now.
And you were like, and then it was like, and raise your price after.
Yes, immediately. And you're welcome. But it began a long journey of where every time Carrie has come out with anything, I'm like, me, pick me, because she is so talented. And I was telling Mark Stern here, who's one of my best friends, like just like Carrie, and I'm like, she is so on top of her game. It is almost scary to watch the transformation because it's been such a fast time. I mean, you've had a long process in here, but and a lot of work, so I'm not going to discount that. But over the course of a year to go from where you were to what you're creating now and what I'm watching my peers, because I'm in a $100,000 mastermind and people are coming to Carrie, like flocking to her to watch them transform with her branding behind them. You are changing lives.
Oh my gosh. And the thing is, like, for me, like I always say, like, I always feel like I can do something when I see somebody doing it. And I think for me, like, it was when I met you, because, like, of course, everybody, like, you hear all the people doing, like, all the things and you're like, oh, well, like, they're, like, far away from me, or they have this type of personality. But when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, my kindred spirit, all the things.
You can be goofy, you can be authentic,
and then you can be successful.
Yeah.
And that was like the crazy moment for me, because literally I was still in corporate. And, like, I used to have, like, my superiors come to me and say, you know, Carrie, like, you're a little too bubbly. You're too, like, happy-go-lucky. You need to maybe, like, be a little bit more serious now. And I'm just like, but it's not me. Like, I'm serious, but, like, I'm me. Like, you don't want me to be me? And then I see you, and then, like, you're you, and you're just, like, so authentically you. And then you have a successful business. And, like, you're about to cross the stage.
Yes.
And it's just like to get that award. And it's just like that thing of, like, for me, it was like, if Lindsay can do it being her, like, maybe this is possible for me. And then it was like the way that you took me under your wing, you're like, we're just gonna ride this together. I was just like, well, I need to make sure I'm not gonna let Lindsay down. Like, I'm gonna make sure I do all the things I need to do.
So this year has been so transformative for my business, so transformative. Becky North, which I think most of you know, Becky said, do you realize you are making more money serving at the highest level, working less, and your customers are killing it? And that is the difference in a premium brand.
Yep. All right, so you ready?
Oh, I don't want to do this part.
All right. So phase 1. Brand change.
It's like you go back and you look at your high school photos and you're like, whoa, what was that on top of my head?
Okay, so, like, before we move on to this piece, like, tell me kind of, like, when you're in this phase, because, like, as a lot of my other customers that are in this phase, like, they aren't showing up like they're supposed to. Like, they're not getting on speaking engagements. They're not getting on podcasts because they're like, oh, I have to send them my social media. I have to send them my website. Maybe I'll just wait. And things like that. Were you there at that moment too?
Oh my gosh. So I started Talent Paradigm with, like, a prayer, like 2 pennies and a prayer, and a lot of brand equity in my personal brand. So I'll say that was definitely a catalyst for me. But I had done it all myself, and I would consider myself, like, I'm pretty fashionable. So I thought I could handle this. No, like it was like, I mean, to the point where I was like, I have extreme shame. I mean, even to the point where I'm like, looking at this, it's going to be like, oh, what was I, especially when you see the before, which is not even the before, because Carrie did not want to embarrass me so much that she took like there was level 0, and then level 1, and then 2, 3. She went to, like, level 4 before she started screenshotting. So it was bad. I mean, it was just this hodgepodge of things that I had just pasted together. Thank you, Canva, for your templates that everyone else uses. And I thought I was doing the very best I could. So what do you want to show it?
All right, ready?
And yeah, there it is. There's lots of flowers and pictures, and I was like, let's just put a box around words.
A box around words. And then it's like, they're going to know about this Dream Job Boot Camp. We don't know if it's different, but it might be the same post every time. But they're just going to.
Hey, I thought it was working for me. It was not. I knew that I was not. I did not look at it and go, you know what? That is a perfect representation of my brand and who I want to show up as at the end of the day. No, definitely not.
So, okay. So during this phase, like, were you able, like, let's say somebody was like, hey, like, can I get your Instagram? I want to send some people your way. Were you like, sure, take it?
No, I mean, I to the point where I wouldn't even use it. I wouldn't even use the platform. Like when people go back and like, don't scroll down. Like, thank God that now this has been up leveled, because it was, and it was there because everyone said I needed to do it and I couldn't do it well, and I don't like doing anything not really well. So this was like my best. And if you look at the back, you go further back, you'll see how bad it was. This was the best I had done. This was the very best I had done. And so at the time I was like, this is pretty good, but I still am not sending anyone to it, because it's not anything that would make people go, wow. You know, like when you have to look at the sea of landscape on Instagram, it did nothing to differentiate me. It was boring. I mean, I look at it now and I'm like, oh God, someone just slap her a little bit, you know, like what were you thinking, Lindsay? So
all right, so this is where we met, and then we go into phase 2. So phase 2 I love, because like this is where I met you. I have my feedback. So like this is where I met you, and like this is where like I felt like you just were showing up, like you had got like a PR, you were like Forbes magazine, like you were on everybody's podcast, like you were just up like, oh, go check out my social media. It's Ask Lindsay Mustain.
The immediate change of like the customers and the ease and the response from the people around me who were my peers were like, wow, this looks so good. Look at it. Like this, I mean, this still makes me happy. This still makes me really happy. And I was playing really in the mass market space, which is a great place. Still, we still have this. And so this just, I mean, it's still like, I love the colors. I love the feeling of it. It's playful. It really represents me. Like this is where, I mean, I feel happy when I look at this. Like there's no shame, like to the point where I'm like, yes. And when I look at people who are coming now and they're like, let me show you my branding guide, I'm like, oh, they need to talk to Carrie. Like, that was so 18 months ago. Lots of prayers, because I did that. So this one was beautiful. And like, we started to see bigger hits, and we started to, I think first month, I think we grew like 10% on our Instagram from that, you going through this process with me. So this feels, I mean, like, oh, I'd rather live here until you see what comes next.
Yeah. And then like one thing about this piece too, like for me, I felt like you changed. Like, I felt like you were able to serve like in a complete, so like not even the fact of like the visual piece, like we were able to like even like go into your target audience. We were able to like, you yourself were able to actually become like a better CEO than you were before.
Yeah. Well, I felt like I could show up at the highest level because I looked like it. You know, where like it's kind of that self-fulfilling prophecy where you're like, oh, you know, like I don't feel confident in what I am, so I don't feel like I can own that now. Yeah, I mean, look at it. It looks amazing.
And I think too, like at this point, like during this process as well, I think what was also happening is like people would say like I knew that you were good at something, but now you actually look like you're good at something.
Isn't that interesting? Because people judge just like if you look at someone's profile, they're judging your value in a tenth of a second. That's how quickly people are making a decision. And it happens the same with your brand. So you have a lot to overcome if you don't have a strong brand. Hence, like, why does my background look like this? Why am I always like so dressed up? Like, why do I do these things? Because I want to show up like in my brand.
Mm-hmm. I love that. All right. So at this point, you start serving higher, and then you start thinking like, hey, like I can do more. Like I can serve deeper. And that's when you were like, I think I want to go premium.
Yeah, I felt really tough. I was already the very best in the world at what I did. So I knew that. I knew the results that I got from my people were 50 to sometimes 1,000 times more than the cost of what they invested in. Mm-hmm. That's not a joke. 50 is the average. So I knew that that there was space for me to go and play and serve at a much higher level, and to change to this, to serve customers who are really looking for true and deep life transformation, so they could ascend to what we call the throne of career power. And so that is where I've been, and I joined a very high-end mastermind. In fact, I just signed paperwork to become part of their ambassador program. So more to come on that, because that is how effective the branding has been. Is that I've been hand selected out of all of their clients. Only 7 of us were chosen to go and be this place where we could represent that luxury brand for them. And that is the change, to go from where you go mass market, which you should always have something mass market so you can serve people and help them get results and then help them grow. But you should also consider building a premium offer for your business so that you can create deep transformational change with somebody on a long-term basis.
Yep. And I remember, like, when you came to me, you were like, okay, Carrie, like, I know that if I want to sell this premium offer, I have to have a premium brand. And that's what you were like, Carrie, like, what are we going to do? And I was like, oh, I'm excited.
Hold on. I've been waiting. Hold on. Let's stretch it out here.
I was like, all right, I'm ready. I've been putting in this work. And then
we had a little bit like, you need to get some imagery that matches. So that was first step.
The first thing.
And then it's not the pictures itself. It's this. Is that not beautiful? I mean, the thing is, I know that I'm in the images. So I'm a little conceited, but look at them. I mean, it's just the epitome of luxury and premium, and everything about it is so perfectly spaced to capture your eye and to look different. I mean, can you just, I mean, it looks so, I'm like, oh, I get these images and I'm like, who is she? And I'm talking about me, not just Carrie. Like, I already know Carrie. I'm like, whoa, what happened to my friend? Because she's on next level. Like, we went from like amplifying to like quantum leaping with this. So this is, I mean, I'll just tell you that I have had at least 20 different people in the entrepreneur space and people who are in the communications field who have reached out to me to say, your branding is incredible. And there is nothing like, after going from the place of feeling super disempowered and shameful, which is such a terrible feeling, to go from that to being like, yeah, I know.
Tell me. Thanks.
Thank you. One in particular, I was like, wow. Like, I was really shocked to get that feedback. So, and I'll tell you, like, I'm at this point where I have a waiting list now to be on podcasts. Like, I'm like, okay, when I have free time, I'm going to jump on this. Like, there is sales are happening easily and effortlessly. We're in the process of,
oh my gosh, you said my word. You said my word. Oh, you said it. The effortless, that frictionless. Like, the thing is, like, when you build a brand around your customers that speak their language, the sales come so easy. It becomes frictionless, because now you're able to, like, they know that you're talking to them. Like, your premium clients, like, when they see your stuff, when they see how you communicate, they see how you articulate your message, they're like, she's speaking my language. So of course I need to, like, of course, like, sign me up.
Yeah, this last, I mean, I would say like the last 10 days, because this branding has just come out, and the transformation in the brand coming out. I mean, we have had our best 10 days ever. That's how powerful it is. And it's, I'm going to knock on wood, because this is no way it's going to continue, but I'm at 100% close rate since we upgraded our branding. That is the change. So I'm commanding more money and getting more results. Clients are seeing, like, I literally just had somebody who we're negotiating salary with. She got 130% increase in her salary over the time, because we went in on branding, creating an experience that delights, that creates transformation. And it's fun and enjoyable. And the brand behind it is really what has caused it to catalyze and be able to change and trickle down. People are watching, and I had no idea.
I know. And it's crazy. Like, it's crazy, because even for me, sometimes, like, I think a lot of times, especially like when you have like the service-based businesses, a lot of times we forget to like brand our own business. But like, I'll have people come to me, they're like, Carrie, I come to you because your brand is so on point. And you don't see that a lot for service providers. Like they're always like have do their brand because they're like, oh well, I'm just taking care of my customers. But in the premium, like in the premium space, the luxury space, like they want to see what you can do. Like, how are you showing up for yourself?
Exactly. I know every time I go, that's why I was like saying to Mark, I'm like, do you see what Carrie's putting out there? Like, so good. I mean, she's on my feet because I'm always interacting with it, but I'm like, I'm so glad because her stuff, I'm just going to say it, and I'm biased because I've had a chance to work with her now, and she's changed my life. But like, she is so good that it's almost painful. Like, it's almost painful to see how good her transformation is, and that she completely blows every other person. I'm going to say it right here. Every other branding person away. They're like the gal who sat next to me, and I was like, that's really good. Like, she was like the kindergarten version of Carrie today. That's how much she has grown. So, and she's like in the PhD program, I think, right now. So her, like, the stuff that she is putting out is absolutely, it's slaying it for me. And it's slaying it for everybody who I see who's engaged with her. It's been amazing.
And the thing is, like, like, for me, like, I really love my customers. Like, I love, like, the transformation. Like, I love, like, the feeling of, like, when they go from that shame to, like, oh my gosh, I just want to, like, I want to tell everybody, like, and it's like, they're able, especially because we deal with the impact-driven entrepreneurs, they're able to impact more people because they're more confident and more bold about what their message.
Yeah, I would say almost like your brand, and get a little bit of echo. I'm not sure if that's mine or not, but it's like having a microphone.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't have a good brand, it's mostly like you're not a good branding, visual branding. It's like standing on top of a soapbox and shouting at people.
Yeah.
When you put the value into a branding yourself, this is like the microphone. This is where you get to, like, the bullhorn, where you can actually reach more people with less effort, and it makes a bigger impact.
And, like, we have some cool stuff coming up. So me and Lindsay, we're teasing, we're probably doing something this Friday, me and Lindsay, where we're going to actually go behind the scenes a little bit more on how she was able to go from brand shame to selling extremely high ticket offers effortlessly, frictionless, and doing it boldly and confidently. So if you guys are interested, if you want to, like, learn more about, like, how she's able to do this, how we're able to actually tie in the brand to create that premium brand, make sure you comment below and we'll send you the information.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because if
I have so much more stuff, so much more.
Oh, there is so much more. That's the thing, is I was sharing it with one of the luxury branders, and she was like, holy crap, this is the best stuff I have seen. And that was when I was like, yes, I know. And I am just so thankful to count you as a friend and a colleague. So thank you so much, Carrie.
No, and my last slide, which is super important.
Oh, I didn't see what the last slide was. Oh.
And it literally means the world to me because, like, you didn't have to trust me with your brand. Like, your brand is like a lot of people's brand is like their babies. Like, it's their babies. Like, and you pretty much gave me your baby. And you're like, hey, like, I want you to make this into what I want it to be. But, like, and it's like, that's scary. And that, for me, I was like, oh, okay, I got this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to transform this brand because, like, and that's, for me, is like, I just appreciate you for trusting me because you didn't have to trust me with your brand. Like, you could have went to anybody else, like, because there was other people that you knew in the industry already that were doing branding, and you trusted me. So thank you so much for trusting me with your brand.
I'm pretty sure that I made the right decision. I'm definitely going to say it was the right decision while I'm rolling over here. No. Yeah, as we get started in this, it's been an amazing journey. I'm so grateful for you.
Well, Lindsay, can you let everyone know how they can find you?
Well,
now you can just give them all the things.
You can find me on Instagram now. Just don't scroll down. And also Facebook is always great. But my platform of choice is LinkedIn. So that's always a great way. But always happy to make a friendly face.
Oh gosh, I love it. All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna be doing some strategy stuff. We're gonna talk about like mistakes people make with branding and things like that. But Lindsay, thank you so much. I love you to death. And guys, we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.